It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
Good morning and welcome to this July 13th edition of City Beat. My name is Stuart Walter and my guest this morning, as most of the time, is Mayor Dennis Fenske. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Good morning.
So haven't had a city council meeting, so we can't really talk about what happened last week at City Council. That's coming up on Monday, and that should be exciting as always. One thing that's been really talked about here in Thompson, since Flin Flon passed their curfew, a lot of people are saying that we should do the same. Is it going to be discussed at all at council, or is there the slightest possibility that it would happen again?
I can't see it. We went through this process a number of years ago, previous councils. There was a court challenge based on the Charter of Rights, and it was never enforced. So from a bylaw perspective, you really shouldn't bring a bylaw forward that you can't enforce, and I certainly don't have any intention of that. And unless a councillor brings it forward, there won't be any more discussion on it.
Now, the city put out a post on Facebook yesterday with regards to a taxi bylaw where people aren't allowed to ride in the front of taxis after 11 p.m. And it kind of caught me off guard, and I think a lot of people, just because it seemed to be a random post. Or just of a random bylaw. Why was it important for the city to remind people about this, and what is the bylaw?
Basically, the bylaw says that there should be no passengers in the front seat after 11 o'clock. This is a safety issue that came out of a very unfortunate incident a number of years ago when a taxi driver was killed in an altercation. And so from a safety perspective, we've put that into the bylaw. And occasionally we have to remind both drivers and passengers. It puts the driver in an awkward position when he has to ask a client to sit in the back and not in the front. But it is a safety precaution and one that's enforced. And then occasionally we have to remind both drivers and passengers that after 11 o'clock, no one's allowed in the driver's or the passenger seat in the front seat.
Now, you can't scroll anywhere on Facebook, it seems, or walk around town or drive around without seeing dogs on the loose everywhere. Could you remind, we talked about this before, but could you remind everyone just again what the bylaws are and what the rules are when it comes to pets, what type of animal they are when they're outside of your house?
Well, basically, they have to be in care and control of yourself, basically on a leash off your property. Unless, for instance, in the dog park located off of Goldeye and Baffin, where it's an off-leash area. So basically, what it states is that your pet, cat or dog, must be in your control on a leash at any time they're off your property. Unfortunately, it's not about the dog, it's about the owners, and it's about educating owners that they can cause serious incidents with dog bites or nuisance from that perspective when they let their animals run free rein on the community. And unfortunately, people get used to our animal control officers' hours of operation, and unless there's a specific call out, he works specific hours. People are aware of that, and unfortunately, again, I put this fully back on the owners of pets. A responsible pet owner does not let their pet run at large, and if we do happen to catch one and they are identifiable back to the owner, they will be fined. And unfortunately, if they aren't identified and we can't identify the pet, at the end of the day, if they can't be relocated or they may be euthanized, and that's to the detriment of the pet. And again, this all goes back to the owners of pets being responsible for the pet.
Now, it's construction season. One of the ones that just started, and there's been Selkirk Avenue. There was a bit of emergency construction there, as I understand. So could you talk about what happened there?
Yeah, so basically this is phase 2 of the water main renewal and road construction for on Selkirk Avenue. And at the same time, on the east end, the intersection of Station Road and Mystery Lake, you saw the city crews working. We're replacing a main that goes across the street from the CBC building to Dunkin' Donuts that's had collapsed in the past. You'll recall the spring there was one, the yield was underwater, and it was last year. So this was an opportunity to replace that ahead of the works that are being done by contractors coming up from the west side up to the east side of Selkirk Avenue. So the road restoration, the water main renewal was completed last year up to that point. So now it's the road restoration from the one-way lane at Domino's on Selkirk up to the intersection of Station and Mystery Lake. So the city took advantage of work that we could get done before the contractors got there with the paving crew, and that will be completed in late August, early September.
Now, is there any way for people to still get into the businesses that are there? I know a lot of them, their main access is on Selkirk there. So is there any way for people to still go, say, to Chicken Chef or still go to Domino's?
Oh, absolutely. There, off of Juniper Drive, there is access to the Brentwood Plaza, and on the other side, on the north side of Selkirk, which is the plaza, there's access to the plaza on the north side of the plaza parking lot that you can access all the way around the building. So there's plenty of access to those facilities. It's a short-term inconvenience, but in the betterment of infrastructure renewal, we went through this last summer. We'll go through this again this summer. It's a good sign that we're replacing the infrastructure, and it's as I said, it's a short-term inconvenience for this project.
Now, probably the biggest project in Thompson of any effect on Princeton Drive yet, and when is that major project going to be starting?
Yeah, so the main project, the wastewater treatment plant, is under construction now. The grading has been done. The footings are going in. You'll notice a big crane on site. You can see it from pretty well anywhere in the city. So that work will take a year and a half to complete. The other work that was affected on Princeton Drive and out to Hayes Road, where the lift stations is we're replacing a water force main completely from the south end of town to the wastewater treatment plant, which will then allow us to abandon the lagoons that are on the south end of town and provide a more efficient operations in the wastewater treatment plant. So overall, that will take 18 months to complete, and again, there'll be lots of signage and notifications on the individual areas once the construction hits the specific areas.
Now, the other construction project is in the Deerwood area. There's been a few water disruptions recently, and the city's been scrambling to get notifications out just because some of them have been emergency and they've been unexpected.
Yep.
What's the latest on that project, and should the residents in that area expect any more disruptions like that?
Well, it's tough to predict from the disruption perspective. Most of our disruptions so far have been planned. We did have a water break yesterday that was an emergency that came up, and that affected the distribution. But I spoke with the Superintendent of Public Works, Wayne Kaversky, and he assured me that all residents in the area were advised and alternate measures were taken. So again, this is an ongoing project for the summer in the Deerwood Staghorn Beaver area, and again, it's showing the infrastructure renewal that we're going through within our community, and there will be short-term disruptions. We'll get the notices out as best we can, or make alternative arrangements. But again, it's a short-term issue for a long-term game in the replacement of water mains and sewers.
Now, we got a question in via phone, which you can do at 677-8181, but there's a person wondering why there's no 911 service here in Thompson.
911 service basically for us in Thompson is provided in two methods. For RCMP, it's 204-677-6911, and that will get you into dispatch, and then that's transferred down to Brandon, and then transferred back up to us for response. The fire paramedics, that one is 204-677-7911. We have dispatchers on site here in Thompson for that. It also goes to central dispatch and dispatch back to Thompson for ambulance. At this point, 911 isn't an option in the north. It's very difficult in regards to locating locations and sending first responders out. I know they're working on it, but for this area right now, it's locally. Again, the two numbers for RCMP are 204-677-6911, and for fire paramedic, it's 204. Well, it's minor day through contracts with Valet and the city that are affected directly. So city operations will be closed tomorrow for one day, and then they reopen as the public service announcement was on before us, stating that. And there is the local picnic that's sponsored by local 6166 steelworkers located at the Steel Center. That's an ongoing event that happens annually on minor day. Other than that, no other businesses should be affected. It's basically the City of Thompson employees and Valet employees.
And is there anything else you'd like to talk about today?
No, just again, a reminder, it's been a great week for weather-wise. I'm sure people are out on the water and the lakes. Just from a safety perspective, make sure that if you're going out on the lake, you let people know where you're going, when you'll be back. And if you are on the lake with personal watercraft or a boat, that you have the right licenses, that you have to have the right PFDs, and that everybody is aware of everybody else on the water. It gets a little bit busy out there, so just make sure that you're enjoying your summer safely.
Well, thank you so much for coming today, Mayor Fenske.
Thank you.
If you have any questions you'd like answered next week, email them in advance to chtemnews@arcticradio.ca. For 1029 CHTM, I'm Stuart Walter.
City Beat will be back next Thursday morning at 11:30.